A photo of Timothy Chalamet as Willy Wonka in an upcoming prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory went viral this week, with many on social media calling him a twink Willy Wonka.
This is Extra Extra. I'm Jane Stevenson for Sun Media, and there's so much going on in entertainment right now. We decided to invite our Sun Media sister and celebrity chinwag lover, Danette Wilford, to join us on this week's edition. She's already laughing. That's a good sign. Obviously, coming out of that clip, Colin Jost talking about Timothy Chalamet. He appears to be having the time of his life right now. He's basically about to be in Dune, opening in theaters very soon. He is going to be the star of that film, no doubt. In the meantime, he's also at the same time shooting Wonka, the origin story of Willy Wonka. Do you think, Danette, he's going to be able to fill the shoes of people like Gene Wilder in the original and Johnny Depp in the remake?
Yeah, he's such an earnest, honest, passionate actor. I think that he's going to find little nuances that maybe even Wilder and Depp didn't find. Like, he's just so good, and he's got that little devilish something about him too. I mean, he is 25, but looks much younger. But I think he's going to pull this off. I think he's going to surprise everybody, if people are surprised that he's doing this at all.
So one of the things that's come up, obviously, with what Colin Jost was saying and just the general public, that because of his very boyish looks, they're calling him the twink Wonka, or as we've now coined, Twonka. And I'm wondering if you think that's a derogatory term in any way, or is it just kind of just a general description of what he looks like?
Oh, no. I guess it depends on who you ask. I don't know if it's the best term to use. I think twink is describing, or what is used to describe as, like a boyish looking gay person. So I don't know if maybe we should use something else. I think we should go with Twonka. Twonka's good.
Okay, fair enough. We'll see if it catches on after this video airs.
I think it will.
So heading across the pond now, William and Kate, the royal couple, caused quite a stir the other night on the Earthshot Awards red carpet because everybody was encouraged to recycle clothes. So we had William in particular in a green velvet blazer that everybody was oohing and eyeing over, calling him the next James Bond, which I thought was a little bit much, but they thought he looked very dapper, and they applauded the royal couple for wearing older clothes. Kate also was in a dress that was 10 years old. In the meantime, too, there's a royal report that they basically want their younger children, Charlotte and Louis, to have their own careers and not be what they call a royal hanger-on like Prince Andrew, and we all know how that ended up, not great. So they're looking at kind of their children having a lot more in common with the children of Harry and Meghan in terms of having their own lives and not being so-called royals. And I guess there's something to be said for that, to not be on the royal payroll. And finally, Danette, I am outraged by this. The Queen, she is 95 years old, and her doctor has now advised her she may not take her royal tipple at night, which is a martini, which I've always thought was wonderful. Shouldn't we be telling a 95-year-old what she can and cannot do?
No. She clearly knows what she's doing. She's been doing it for this long. Let her keep drinking her martinis or her gins or her champagnes or wine or tea, whatever she wants. Yeah, I think she's proven that she knows her own body, her own health, and she's going to be fine by the time she's at the Platinum Jubilee celebrations next year.
And perhaps not a very strange celebrity twist, Kanye West is currently sporting one of the strangest looking haircuts I've ever had the misfortune to see. Kind of looks like a soccer ball on his head, or a squirrel ate him, or it's a very odd looking patchwork haircut. And perhaps because of that haircut, Danette, he is now wearing what can only be described as a Halloween mask while he's on a holiday in Italy. It's kind of gray, goblin looking. It's kind of scary. He wouldn't be out of place in a Friday the 13th movie. Maybe it's just a way to hide the haircut or his anonymity, but everybody knows it's Kanye, so that kind of defeats the purpose. And then on top of all of that strangeness, he has now legally rather, changed his name from Kanye West to Ye. So just the Y and the E, as the kids would say, Ye. So Danette, should we be surprised? I mean, his wife apparently is keeping her name, Kim Kardashian West. They do have 4 kids together. Maybe that's her way of honoring their last names. Or should Kanye come up with something else?
I think she kept the name just for their kids. I don't think they are leaving on totally bad terms. I think he was even supposed to appear on SNL with her. So I think they're fine. Him, on the other hand, maybe not so fine. He's as weird and bizarre as ever. The mask is very Friday the 13th, maybe meets Michael Myers Halloween.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's the timing of it, maybe because Halloween is like in
Yeah.
just over a week. But the whole name change, oh, I don't know. Yay, yay. Boo, boo, boo to yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think, but I mean, is it surprising? No. I think he's been talking about this for a while anyway.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine him going through customs. Anyways,
How's that?
so moving on to another person who's often in the headlines for more what she's saying than what she looks like or what she's doing in her last name is Meghan McCain, formerly of The View. She has released an audio memoir in which she comes clean about the real reason she left The View. If you've been watching The View the last 3 years, you know there's been a lot of fighting between Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Meghan. She says in this memoir, basically, she kind of says she was bullied. She said she was the focus of their hatred of anything conservative, obviously predominantly Trump, and that they kind of focused their hatred of Trump on her as kind of a conservative avatar, if you will, on the show. And then on top of that, she was also dealing with postpartum anxiety. And then I think she said the straw that broke the camel's back was when she asked Joy, did you miss fighting with me? Or something like a statement, you miss fighting with me, right? And Joy came right out and said, no, I did not, zero. And I guess between the commercial break, she started crying and lactating at the same time. Not a good combo on live television. Are we surprised, given the amount of fighting we actually saw on the television show, that this is what Meghan is now saying about her time there?
No, I mean, you do definitely need a thick skin, I think, to be on the View, but I almost said The Voice. Maybe you need a thick skin for that too. But The View, I mean, the postpartum, that'll do it. I mean, there's no way to predict how she feels, how she can act, how she can react. So if that's what she's saying, I believe her, and I believe it was probably hell for her.
It's interesting too, because you always think of these people as being such tough cookies, right? Because they kind of know going in, they're the lone conservative voice for the most part, not always. So that they kind of built up this, I'm going to be fighting every day with my co-hosts. And yet here was this woman who seemed like really tough, but behind the scenes, it did not sound very pleasant for her. So we'll see what happens next, right? Because now they're kind of going through a rotation of these conservative pundits to see who could possibly be the next permanent host. But maybe they will never have a permanent. Maybe they'll go rotation. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And finally, usually, Danette, it is women fighting over who gets to be on the cover of Vogue magazine. This time, it's kind of two men. Really, it's one-sided. Pose actor Billy Porter is taking a pose. He's striking a pose. He's saying that he should have been the first man to wear a dress on the cover of Vogue. Instead, Anna Wintour chose Harry Styles, late of One Direction, and now a solo artist in his own right, and an actor too, who she chose to wear the dress. And Billy basically is saying that he started this trend. It's a political statement for him. And he's not mad at Styles, but he is mad at Vogue. In the meantime, Harry, who has gone on record as saying he's gender fluid, has talked about playing with clothes, having enough confidence to wear clothes that might traditionally be worn by women, and I don't think he has a problem at all with what he did. He hasn't gone on the record to really react to Billy yet. What do you think, Danette? Should someone have the right to say, I started this and I therefore should be on the cover? I mean, I think he's kind of forgetting about Prince and David Bowie and countless other men who have worn dresses before him.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, if he actually started the trend, then sure, say whatever you want. But I don't think he did. He made it maybe more mainstream. And maybe that also helped with Harry Styles coming out and making more mainstream. So for sure, he contributed to that. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong or right with what Billy Porter said. But I don't also think he owns this thing that he thinks he owns. I think all it's doing is maybe starting a whole new conversation. I think it's more about maybe Harry being a white kid and he's a black man. But yeah, I think what Vogue did with Harry might actually be more groundbreaking, if that means anything, just as far as bringing it to the attention of this younger generation that it's okay to dress how you want and be fluid with your gender, your choices, all those things. What Porter should maybe be focused on is the impact this is making, whether it's him or Harry in a dress on the cover of Vogue. I mean, maybe this just opens more doors for other magazines to put other men in dresses or women in suits or whatever is the gender kind of fluidity that is happening right now. I think it's a positive thing.
Thanks, Danette. Thanks for joining us today on Extra Extra. Let us know what you think of all of these stories on Facebook and Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel below.